right? Okay, all right, so I think I found a good enough spot. I'm using the trees as a prop holder for my cell phone, since that's what I'm using as my camera right now. But yeah, check out my hat. Can you see it? I was raised that way, that you don't say GD. You don't say that. So I love my hat. But yeah, it's such a beautiful day outside. It's honestly, it's just it's gorgeous. The sun is starting to get ready to go down. But it's been beautiful out here. I've seen a cardinal. I saw a blue jay. Saw a whole bunch of little bitty birds like this big. I don't know what you call them, but super gorgeous little birds with green underbellies. Oh my gosh, so many beautiful birds. I saw another bird that was kind of like reddish and a light brown to a medium brown kind of color. Beautiful, gorgeous. Um, but yeah, I like bird watching a little bit. I love being outdoors. It's good that we get outside and do something for yourself, instead of just being inside. It's good to get outside. So today, really, I just wanted to, the Lord placed on my heart just to talk about connecting with your higher self. Connecting with your higher self, your innermost being, right? Connecting with your innermost being. It's necessary. It's necessary. Whenever you connect with your innermost being, your true self, the birds, whenever you do that, you're able to truly understand your values, your values, not what somebody else has told you your values should be. You're able to truly understand your core values, your core desires in life, and you're able to understand what your soul's purpose is here on earth. It's a journey being here on earth, and it's hard enough as it is trying to make it day in and day out, you know, grinding, trying to make money, trying to live, trying to survive. Uh, it's a lot, but it's so important to incorporate a spiritual journey. And that spiritual journey is you connecting with your higher self, your innermost being, connecting with what your higher self desires for you to do during your time here on earth. So yeah, time here on earth, tomorrow isn't promised, next week isn't promised, next month, next year, it's not promised. And so it's important to make your time here worthwhile. So ask yourself, you know, what do I want to accomplish in life? What do I want my legacy to be? What would I want people to remember me for? You know? A lot of people, unfortunately, they're so busy looking outward. They're so busy looking outward and not taking enough time looking inward. And you know what happens whenever people look outward? They point the finger. They say, you're doing this wrong. You need to stop doing that. Look at our world today. Look at our politicians. Look at what's happening. They're so busy focusing on what somebody else should be doing or not doing with their body. They're so busy focusing on what parents should allow their children as far as medical care and different things like that with the the trans kids. They're so busy. These politicians that it don't have nothing to do with them. They're so busy focusing on telling other people, telling parents what they should be doing with their children. Whenever those people who are pointing the finger and focusing outward, they should be looking inward and looking at their own homes and looking at what they're doing with their own children. Because probably a lot of their children are sad. Probably a lot of their children are neglected, emotionally or otherwise. And so, do you want to be remembered as someone who constantly looked outward and were focused so much on what other people are doing with their lives? That you're not really leaving much of a legacy by doing that, right? I would rather be remembered as T, that person who lived authentically. He lived his life the way he saw fit and the way that made him happy. He lived his life. Yes, and I'm talking in third person. He lived his life. I do that sometimes. He lived his life making his higher self truly happy. Because in order for me to live here and have this fulfilled life and meet my soul's purpose, I have to live authentically. I can't ignore the thoughts that I have deep down inside, the emotions, feelings. I can't ignore that. You shouldn't either. You know? And I'm talking about identity, you know? There's some feelings and emotions and thoughts that people have that they don't need to act on. They have those thoughts and feelings and emotions based on trauma that they haven't addressed. And so now they're trying to continue that trauma and pass it on to others. I'm not talking about those types of thoughts, emotions, feelings. Because in that case, those type of people definitely need to seek help. I'm talking about the thoughts, feelings, and desires of looking at yourself in the mirror and sensing that you're not completely happy. That there's something about yourself that isn't matching, or that you feel like you can't tell or share with the world for some reason. It's important that you don't push down those feelings, because the only one suffering in the end is you. If you listen to what Ma and Pa and Auntie and Uncle and the pastor and cousin and the neighbors say how you should live your life, whenever it's your time to go 6 feet deep, whenever it's your time to go 6 feet deep and everybody else done had an opportunity to live their lives the way that they wanted to live them, whenever your spirit comes up out of that body, you're going to be like, man, damn, I didn't even really live at all. So connect with your higher self. It's imperative. It's imperative to live the most genuine and fulfilling type of life that you possibly can. You know, it's not easy to look at yourself in the mirror and admit, I have feelings that I don't quite understand. It can sometimes be overwhelming. Just not really knowing, okay, what's the next step? What should I do about this? It can sometimes be overwhelming trying to figure that out, right? And so you just have to take it one step at a time. And for me, I've prayed every day. I've talked to God every day. This is the reason why I started the channel. I've been walking by faith and not by sight. No matter how people try to speak down on me or tell me that I'm doing wrong or that I'm living wrong, people who don't know me at all, I don't really care about their opinion. I'll have discussions all day, honestly, because they need to happen. But I'm strong. I'll stand up for myself. I'll stand up for others, because people like to pick on the minority. They like to do that. Or they like to hide in the shadows and pick on people uh, while suppressing their own deep down thoughts and feelings. But I prayed every single day, and I've looked up to God, universe, divine, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I believe they're all one and the same. But I've looked up to God and asked him for, um, I've asked him for guidance, and he has provided that guidance. And so I implore you to do the same. Man, screw whatever anybody else has to say about it or thinks. It's your life. You got to live it. I know I'm living my life, and I've been so happy ever since I've been living my true authentic self, because I don't feel like I'm having to ignore a part of me for people that don't even know me, right? I think that it's important that you pray every day. Write down whatever it is that you're going to uh, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. Write that down and ask God for guidance. Ask God for um, understanding in the situation. Ask Him for clarity. If you ask God for these things, He will provide them to you. He will give them to you. He won't leave you constantly wondering what's the next steps. He will provide those things to you if you just have faith and believe in Him, and screw what man has to say about it. Because like I said, man will try to tell you you're doing X wrong, Y wrong, Z wrong. Screw what man has to say about it, and just hone in on what your higher self is telling you, because your higher self is your most authentic and pure version of you, which is the closest version or the closest thing to God, right? It's authentic, it's pure, it's true. Hone in on that and listening to the guidance that you're able to receive from the inside. That's what's most important. The Bible says that God will not leave us nor forsake us. He will not leave us nor forsake us, which means there's going to be things that occur, things that happen, things that are confusing, and there's going to be issues, troubles, problems. That's going to happen. This is life. But God is always going to show us, He is always going to show us a way through it. So I got a little distracted because people are passing by. I hope that I can cut some parts out of this video because I was getting distracted by people. And honestly, my phone is in between the trees, so people probably think I'm talking to just the tree. I don't care. Ah! But yeah, stay strong. Stay strong. Connect with your higher self. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through, sitting and listening to music. You can do that in just sitting in silence. However you are able to sit still, do that. Start practicing. It's gonna be maybe tough in the beginning, but it'll get easier and easier and easier and easier as time goes on. So yeah, I don't know what else I gotta say about that. These squirrels are just a going. But man, I'll be back in the morning, or mid-afternoon. I don't know. I'll be back at some point to talk to y'all. And yeah, man, feels so good out here. So until next time, I'll holler at you. Yeah, take care and God bless.